Hello, amazing parents and caretakers, and welcome to the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. I'm your family empowerment coach, Celia Kibler. I'm a mom of a blended family of 5 kids. I'm a grandma of 9 kids, an author, a teacher, a speaker, and a consultant with over 40 years of training and real-life parenting experience. I'm here to offer you practical, doable tips, strategies, and techniques that will pump up your parenting skills and create peace, love, and laughter throughout your family. In addition, I'll be interviewing some great humans that are on a mission to make your life a better, happier, and healthier life. So let's not waste any time and get started with the next episode of the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the International Day of Calm Summit.
Harry, come aboard, my friend. Hi, Harry.
Celia!
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you doing?
Oh my
So
gosh,
good to
also
see
amazing and so much happier and calmer because you're here.
you.
So we've had like unbelievable amount of incredible speakers, and your talk is always a highlight because we always just relax and calm down from it. My whole family and extended family practically is a part of this summit, and I'm truly blessed in my life to have all my people here. So, Harry, are you ready to talk about chanting?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I give you Harry Louis Lopez.
All right. Oh, Celia, always such a gift to be here with with you and your community, and I think it's like my third or fourth time speaking at the International Day of Calm, so always such an honor. And it's interesting that every year I always speak on whatever it is that I'm working on at the moment, whatever it is that's serving me that I'm waking up to. So last year I spoke about the power of silence. And I think I can't remember what I spoke on the year before, but was it last year or 2 years ago with the power of silence?
I think it was 2 years ago on silence.
Silence. Okay,
That
yeah.
was
So
your
two
trip.
years, 2 years
Wasn't
ago.
that the trip you made?
Yeah, I packed up my bags and I left to Thailand, and I was supposed to go for like a week. I decided I would stay for a month, and then it ended up being 6 months because I fell in love with the region, the people, the culture. Interestingly, Thailand is a Buddhist country, and I grew up Catholic. My dad's part Jewish, so Buddhism was not something that I grew up with at all. And funny enough, when I was in Thailand, I was doing all the meditating and yoga, doing silent retreats, but I never really got into Buddhism until I got back from Thailand. So 2 years ago, I was traveling and I wanted to extend my stay, but my mom came down with cancer. So I flew back to Miami and I surprised her, and it was very emotional, and I ended up staying. And it was really tough for me because I didn't want to be in Miami. I wanted to just be elsewhere and continue traveling and doing the things, and living like the whole backpack lifestyle. But I decided, you know what? It's time for me to ground somewhere. I want to create real inroads in the community and to really cement relationships in Miami. Like I want to have a home base. And I felt like for a long time, even as an entrepreneur, I've been coaching for, I started at Teach for America over 10 years ago. I got my coaching certification, and then I started my own practice, working on my own, hiring freelancers, working with different clients over the years. And a lot of my work I was in Miami, but I felt like I was just on my computer all the time. Like I felt like I was just like working at coffee shops and just working and working and doing yoga, right? So I learned a lot. I grew a lot. I came back from Miami. I came back to Miami from Thailand. I had like I had whatever they call it, the um soul dark night of the soul, right? Is that what it's called? And I was like, who am I? What do I do now? Where do I go from here? Um, I was completely lost. I fell into the darkest depression of my life. I didn't want to do my business. I did not want to show up online. I was so tired of it. I was burned out. And the beautiful thing about Thailand is that it gave me a sense of calm that I had never felt in my entire life. My parents are immigrants from Managua, Nicaragua. My whole life, all I saw them do was work. They worked always. I never ever saw them rest. And if I ever did see them rest, they were kind of hard beating themselves up for resting because they were supposed to work, right? They were supposed to always continue going and going. And so I saw that growing up, and my winning formula growing up was just achieve, achieve. So I came back from Thailand. I got back into the yoga studio. I signed up for another yoga teacher training. And the yoga studio that I go to, Ahana, it really became my temple, my home away from home, or my refuge, my salvation. I started teaching yoga, and that was after 10 years of being a yoga student. And I started doing yoga because I was a third grade teacher in Nashville, and I was so stressed, and I was so anxious, and I was so scared because I was thrown into a teacher training for 4 weeks of how to be a third grade elementary school teacher. And I had all these people observing me left and right, the district, the school leaders, the principals, there was so much observation. I was so scared. So one of the teachers took me to a yoga class, changed my life, and I didn't stop going, right? Never thought I'd be a yoga teacher. I'm a yoga teacher now. I connected with one of my friends a couple months into teaching yoga after having come back to Miami. I was still in a weird place. I still felt like funky and like, what am I doing? Where am I going from here? My friend Miguel, he is a Buddhist. I knew that about him. 2 years ago, he told me that he's been chanting. And I was like, oh, that's cute, right? But I never I never asked him really what it was about or what chant he did or anything like that. But I knew that he was creating results in his life. And so I was inspired and enrolled. One day, out of the blue, we went and got Chipotle after a yoga class. And I was like, what is that chant that you do? I don't know. I just was curious. I got curious. And he told me, oh, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So, mind you, I had already been sort of chanting at my yoga studio for a while because our yoga studio, Ahana, is Hare Krishna. So there's the whole Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I knew that chant, and I just knew it as a chant that you would say, we would sing together in class. But Miguel, I knew him as friends. We weren't very close. So he told me about his chant, and he invites me over to his apartment. And I go to his apartment. I'm like, wow, you have a really nice place. And he has a dog. And he's got a good job. And he's got a great car. And he's like a leader in the Buddhist community. So I was enrolled. Yes, Leslie, that's the one Tina Turner did. And in fact, I'll tell you more about that. So foreshadowing. This is the Tina Turner chant. So we go to his apartment, we have our Chipotle, we start eating, and he's telling me more about chanting. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready for something. I'm ready. I'm kind of like one of those that likes to dive into different technologies and tools that can really support me. So pause for a moment. So I had been in Thailand and I was doing a lot of the meditating, the silent retreats, really tapping into what I would refer to more as my feminine energy. Thailand is a more feminine energy culture place where you really tap into your stillness, your softness. I love that. And what I really was inspired about with the chanting was that it was very different from meditation because meditation, I have my eyes closed, I'm sitting in silence, I'm not talking, I'm just being with what is and just like observing and noticing, which is gorgeous. And I'm always for the rest of my life will be a meditator. However, the chanting was about courage, was about going after your goals. I learned that Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, which is it's a lineage of Nichiren Buddhism, is SGI Soka Kagai International. Started in Japan many, many years ago. It's really about accessing your power. And what it literally means, it's a combination of Sanskrit and Japanese, I believe. It means I chant for the universal mystical law of cause and effect. So I chant for the cause and effect. So if you want to have something in your life, you want to make $1 million, you want to have that car, if you want to have the relationship, if you want to have the thing, the effect, it's all about how you're going to cause and create it. So this chant is about taking action towards your goals. It's all about courage. And we started chanting. We did a little chant in his apartment that one day. And we did it for about 10 minutes. Nam myoho renge yo, nam myoho renge yo, nam myoho renge yo, nam myoho renge yo, nam myoho renge yo. And we just kept going. Nam myoho renge yo, nam myoho renge yo. And I just started observing in my body that I started feeling more relaxed. I started whatever it is that I came into, whatever thoughts or worries or frustrations, stresses, they just dissipated. And by the end, I noticed that my posture was changing. I started speaking more loudly. I was chanting with more confidence. My voice started opening up. And then from that day, I haven't stopped. And it's been about 4 months. And it's changed my life. It's like, wow, it's been such a catalyst and I know that, it is a religion. It is a religion. It's a Buddhism. But for me, it's breath work and it's a tool, it's a tool to access courage. So, I mean, at the time, I stopped running my business. I was seeing some clients, but I needed a break from entrepreneurship. So I was chanting for a job and I was chanting for a really good job, like a corporate role where I could bring in all of my skills and all of my talents. And so I was chanting every day for I mean, I must have been chanting some days for 2 hours a day, just thinking about like what I want to create. And I would find myself toward the first couple of days, I would be chanting and right here in this room. And at the end of the chanting, I'd be on the floor sobbing uncontrollably, on the floor, just facing everything, just allowing everything to come up to the surface, all of my fears, all of my pent up like emotions that I've been unwilling to face and experience. And it's interesting. Every time I think about my family, I would start like sobbing while chanting. And yes, Leslie, the chanting for me is a form of prayer because when you're in the chants, you're thinking about your goals, but you're also praying over the people that you love and the things that you want to see more of in the world. So I start off my chanting with just really praying for the people in my life, people that I'm feeling challenged by. I'll pray for them. I'll pray for I'll pray for my past students. I'll pray for every single person I've come into contact with. I'll pray for myself. And then, it takes me a while to come to remember that the chanting is really about you and what you're going to do to take action. So it's like, oh, I'm reminded of that. Like, about 15, 20, 15, 18 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, we got to do it. We got to come back here. Come back home, Harry. What are you going to do today with regards to what it is that you say you want? Right? Because you say you want XYZ, what are you going to do about it? So it keeps me honest. And it's been a really beautiful sacred space and a tool. I would say it's a tool and a technology. It's a technology that I've really leaned on over the last couple months to support me in going where I've been afraid to go in all areas of my life, right? Having those difficult conversations, I'll chant about it. Dealing with that difficult colleague, I'll chant about it. Um, um, you know, I was driving of my old, still like 5 months ago, I was driving the same car I had when I was 21 because I was just so focused on everybody else needs to have their needs met. I need to invest in everything else but me last. I was like, I'm gonna go get myself a Tesla. And I printed out a picture of a Tesla, I put it on my vision board, and then every day, I kid you not, I was chanting for that Tesla, and now I have my Tesla. It feels so good. So typically I'll chant in the mornings. I'll chant in the mornings. When I'm rushing to get to work, I'll chat in the car the whole way on the way to work. And it's been like my drive. It's been my routine while I'm driving, chanting the whole way through. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Let me give you a little bit of info here, because I believe I've just been. So let me pause for a moment. This phrase, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, it's considered the central practice in SGI Buddhism. Um, and just a caveat, I'm really not an evangelist or trying to, you do whatever it is that works for you. If this works for you, amazing. If it doesn't, great. There's so many other things out there. So I don't ever want to feel like I'm, prescribing something and sort of forcing you to do anything. The purpose of chanting. Chanting is seen as a way to tap into one's inherent Buddhahood, is what it says, to align one's life with universal truth, and to manifest positive change in one's environment. The main goal is personal transformation, overcoming obstacles, and contributing to the well-being of society. I'll just give you a little bit of historical context. The practice is rooted in Nichiren Daishonin's teachings, a 13th century Japanese Buddhist monk. Nichiren's discovery. Nichiren discovered the Lotus Sutra as the ultimate expression of Buddhist teachings and stressed that chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo would lead individuals to enlightenment. I'll just give a little shout out to the wonderful, esteemed Tina Turner, because interestingly, I forgot that this was the chant that she did that changed her whole life. If you're unfamiliar with Tina Turner's story, Tina Turner was a singer, a world-renowned artist. There's a movie, What's Love Got to Do with It, that depicts her life and her marriage with Ike Turner. And prior to chanting, Tina Turner was in a very abusive relationship, a lot of domestic abuse. She felt pretty captive, didn't feel like she had her own personal autonomy and power, didn't have a voice. There was a lot of abuse in the relationship. So her son introduced her to chanting, and then other folks started telling her about chanting. So she starts chanting, Nam-myoho Renge Yo, Nam-myoho Renge Yo, Nam-myoho Renge Yo. And the tool, it supported her over time to access her power. So she left the relationship, she went on her own, and she's just such a leader in the movement. And there's also a really beautiful book that Tina Turner wrote about her experience and her story. I have it somewhere. Can chants be anything you personally create, or is it something set up already? I think there's already these chants that you can leverage. I know of people who have worked with a guru, and the guru has assigned to them a chant given based off of what they're working on. I know that there's also so many different disciplines and practices like Kundalini yoga that leverages a lot of different chants. For a while, I was doing the Kundalini meditation for transformation. Satanama, 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 which is also very powerful. But there's just something about this one that's really worked for me that others have in ways that others haven't really done so. There's something also about the sound of it, the namyo, nayo, nayo. What it does for me is that, I mean, it targets the vagus nerve, so it relaxes you. Number two, it opens up your throat chakra. So everything in this life is about cause and effect. So oftentimes the cause that you create is about speaking something into existence. So if you're like me and you've struggled with like really tuning in, tapping into your full the range of your voice because of XYZ reasons, this chanting is going to open up your throat and your voice. So when I'm driving to places, I feel like when I'm chanting, I'm like warming up my voice, knowing that I'm gonna have to speak. And historically, I've been more on the quieter end in meetings, in workplaces, just in life in general. I tend to be more introverted. So the chanting has really supported me in opening up. Lastly, there's so many different benefits, right? But the other thing that I think it does is that it's kind of like a to the mind. So Zoom thinks I'm playing music. It's kind of like your gibberish, right, to the mind. So it tunes out. It's like a tuning out frequency for whatever it is that's coming through. Um, and I was looking for a daily practice that could support me, and I hadn't found one that really resonated until this one. So this has been a really, really, really good one for me. Um, Effects on the brain. Studies show that chanting activates areas of the brain associated with focus, mindfulness, and positive emotional regulation. Chanting has been shown to increase activity in the prefrontal cortex associated with higher cognitive functions like decision making and focus. It lowers levels of cortisol, a stress hormone promoting relaxation. It promotes the release of endorphins, which can lead to feelings of well-being and euphoria. The physiological effects, it's been linked to lowering blood pressure and enhanced immune function, creating a calming effect on the body. Um, I feel like if I was calm before, now I feel like this is helping me be more calm because of the it's like doing that over and over again for like a while. A study in an International Journal of Yoga showed that mantra chanting helps reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress in participants. A research published in Psychology of Music found that chanting improves cognitive function, memory, and emotional regulation. I still got a lot of work to do on my memory. I noticed that I still quite forgetful, so hope I gotta keep chanting and taking my supplements. Um, Studies by Harvard Medical School support that repetitive vocalization creates positive neurochemical changes. A couple differences between, or some people that hmm, notable figures who chant. Leonard Cohen, a legendary musician, was influenced by Buddhist philosophy and reportedly practiced chanting. Tina Turner, um, Orlando Bloom of Pirates of the Caribbean, he was a big chanter. There's a woman who won recently on a television, like I can't remember, an Academy Award. She was a big chanter. David Lynch, the director of Twin Peaks and proponent of transcendental meditation, was a big chanter as well. Um, and a couple success stories. Jean Robert Leduc, a former drug addict, found peace and recovery through chanting. He was able to rebuild his life after years of addiction, crediting his spiritual practice as the catalyst for his transformation. Tadao Kiyokawa, a businessman in Japan, was initially skeptical about chanting, but after facing severe financial struggles, he started chanting. He credits his success in turning his business around to the transformative power of chanting, emphasizing how it focused his efforts and helped him overcome despair. And I kid you not, I'm going to these Buddhist meetup groups where we just come together and chant. And I'll speak to folks and I'll ask them, how long have you been doing this? Why did you get into this? How did you get into this? And they'll share with me the most horrific stories of where they were and how they hit rock bottom and how they felt so completely lost and they didn't know where to go and that they started chanting. And how it's completely revolutionized their lives. One of the key components of it is really about you tapping into your human revolution while here, while really accessing your full potential. So, um, oh, let's see what the question is. Yeah, I absolutely can. You know, there's one that I do every single day, and I'm doing it on YouTube. And I was doing it right before I got on this call. It's called Daimoku. This one's quite fast. But let me see if I can just copy and paste this one for you. Um, here we go. Okay, I just put it, it took a while, but I just put it into the chat section. Um, yeah, so I'll give you some, I forgot where I was, but I'll give you some examples. Um, the other day um, I was feeling a little challenged, right? Because I'm working in a like a corporate setting where I'm having to collaborate and interact with a lot of different energies, a lot more than ever before. Actually, probably the most I have in my entire life. And I'm designing a lot of different things, and we're all like, working together. And I was feeling a little challenged by someone. So I I stepped out for my lunch break. I go into my car and I start chanting for 40 minutes in between my, in during my lunch break, right before my next meeting. So I started chanting and chanting and chanting, and I started praying for this person. And I just started sending them so much love, so much love. So I could feel that there was a lot of stuff there. And I was praying for our relationship. And I found that when I got into the car, I felt like all this tense energy. And during the chanting, I was able to soften and release and just really just like surrender whatever it is that I was holding on to, whatever perceptions or attachments or whatever ideas I had about them, or about them thinking about me, or whatever, it all just dissipated by the end. And I walk back into the office, I see them, and I said, "Can I give you a hug?" And I gave them a hug. And then I was like, "Can I give you another hug?" And then I gave them another hug. And and I gave them a really tight hug. And I know that I don't even know what the politics or the corporate, how you're supposed to operate in the work setting, but it just felt so good. And sometimes words can't even do what bodies and energy can. And I had no intention of giving them a hug. There was something that it just in the moment, just intuitively, I got a message. They need a hug. You get to give them a hug. So I did that, and that's it. Everything just completely dissipated. Just phew. What I find is that the practice really dissolves walls. It really brings down your walls and your masks, and it has you show up more authentic and present, and also more vulnerable. And it has you show up in your truth, and and it has you remember your truth, and it has you remember your authenticity and your authentic power, right? So it's such a potent tool, and I'm so grateful for moments like that, and there have been many moments like that. And I think that one of the other gifts of the practice, in addition, similar to prayer, which I think it's all prayer really, it's just sitting in prayer, but it has you get very present, right? And just stay tapped in, tuned in to God, to the God frequency, to Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It has you tap into oneness. And when you're tapped into that, you can really spot distortions and misalignments very quickly, very easily. And so, because you're so present and calm, you can pick up on things that don't feel right, and you're more quick to address them. So this has also supported me in having really honest conversations with folks, coming from a very loving place. So from love for love. Um, what else might I say here? I'll tell you that, when I teach yoga, I still get a little stage fright because it's strangers coming to your class every single week. And for me, there's been a lot of fear of, there's been, all my stuff has come up from teaching yoga. It's been the greatest gift. It's been like my fear of visibility, my fears of visibility, my fears of being judged, my fears of not being enough. There's fears around comparison, like this teacher might have more numbers in their class than I do, or oh, my fear of my imposter syndrome around not knowing enough. Like, I'm just brand new to teaching yin, which I never did a yin teacher training. I did vinyasa, but everything has come up. And through chanting, it's been an incredible tool to allow me to really relax into presence and to not focus on me. Because when I'm focusing on me, I'm making it about me, and to really focus out. And I heard once, when in doubt, focus out. So when you are in moments of struggle, frustration, stress, turmoil, dysregulation, see how you can turn it around to serve those around you. One of my mentors told me once that when she was ever in turmoil, she would get on social media and she would just start loving on people and liking their posts and commenting on their posts. And she just did that. And over time, after a while, she would just feel so good because she was not making it about herself. So when I'm making it about me, I am in my shadows and I am in my mind and my head. You stay in your head, you're dead, right? I think I heard that once from Tony Robbins. If you stay in your head, you're dead. So it's been a really beautiful practice to remember to focus out and to get back into my body and to really stay attuned to what's my surroundings and nature. Yesterday, I went on a long walk and I was reminded of how powerful it is to just be in nature, right? Um, and the frequency of nature. And I remember I said this on my talk 2 years ago, but nature has the most perfect algorithm, right? We can always turn to nature to come to remind us of our truth, to remind us of the purity of who we are. And um, I credit so much of my own surrender work, purification work to different technologies and tools like chanting, which is one of many. But it's been for me in this season of my life, in this season, the chanting has really been one of the top things. So I'm so deeply grateful for the tool. I'm grateful for my friend who introduced me to it and the mentors and the community that I've come across as well. Um, I might sound like I'm in a cult, but you know, um, so Celia, I don't know how much time I have.
You're done.
I'm done? Okay, I'm done.
Well, now we have time for like questions. Like this was such a great. I guarantee you, everybody listening is like, okay, I'm gonna start chanting. I'm like, I'm starting immediately. I'm gonna look up your. Can we chant to your YouTube video?
Of course, it's a little bit fast, but there's other ones that
Oh,
you
do you
can
have a
look up.
slow? What's your channel? Is it your channel or like where are you chanting?
It's a YouTube video that I found, and
Oh, it's when you found somebody else, not you chanting.
no, it's not me chanting.
Oh,
It's like
random human
a picture
chanting.
of a lion on the YouTube. You'll see it when you click on it, and it's like fast chanting. So what I recommend is clicking the video and then copying and pasting the title and just say, find me a slower version. There's so many, there's
Oh,
millions.
that's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
So also in the car, I'm chanting to Spotify. So there's like a really slow version. To Tina Turner, what's interesting is that when I'm chanting, there's moments where I channel her.
Really?
Yeah, I feel her presence and in the room. I feel like I'm embodying her sometimes when I'm chanting. Like my voice starts changing to her voice. Like I've never heard, I don't know what she sounds. Actually, I do because I've heard her in interviews. But also, it's fascinating the voices that come through when I'm chanting. Sometimes I become like this tribal leader. Nanyo renge yo, nanyo renge yo. Like, or sometimes I'm like loud and it just varies and modulates depending on what's coming through me at the moment. It's fascinating. It's
Do you
been
choose different chants or is it always the same chant?
I do the same chant the whole way through. I haven't changed it. And it's the one that has worked for me. And there's other folks that will do different chants and change it up. I'm very much a loyalist when it comes to my personality type. So I'm very loyal when it comes to something that I believe in and I
You're a
respect.
loyal friend.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, Celia. I wish y'all have could see the evolution of my relationship with Celia and how we've known each other for years, y'all. We've like been in the gutter together. We've seen each other at the highest highs, the lowest lows. We've come a long way. I love you,
Yes, we
Celia.
have. And Danny was here yesterday.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna see him in 3 weeks in the Grand Canyon.
Oh, so good. My
Yeah.
daughter's going to the Grand Canyon in a couple weeks.
Really? Oh, how exciting.
And if you can stay, Kevin and Sarah are coming up after you, and they're going to talk all about nature and forest therapy. So
Ooh, very nice.
yeah, so that's coming up next. If since you brought up nature, I was like, oh, you should hang if you can. I don't know if you can, but you can
Oh,
always rewatch it on YouTube.
that's one thing I wish we had more of in Miami is like more like nature trail hikes and stuff. We don't have a lot of that. We have the beaches.
Beaches. We can walk on the beach. It's
That's true.
hot.
It's hot. Yeah.
It is
I
hot.
like night.
It is
I
hot.
like the beach at night because I love the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love it too. Are there any questions from anybody before we say goodbye to Harry and let him go live his life and chant more? So you chant every morning? Do you chant right when you wake up? Or do you
Um,
like have eat breakfast and then chant? Like, what is your
depends.
ritual or your
Depends.
routine?
Usually I'll do like my like hygiene, housekeeping stuff, and then I'll immediately go chant. And if I'm running late, if for some reason I've woken up a little later, I'll do all my stuff and then I'll get in the car and I'll chant for 20 minutes.
So does chanting in the car, like I usually listen to my books in the car.
Hmm,
Does chanting in the car distract you from driving?
not at all. If anything, it makes me more focused because you're tapped in, tuned in, you're relaxed. And so you're like, you can see, you're aware, your senses, you're like internally calming yourself so that you're attuned to everything, in your surroundings. You pick up on
Very
a lot.
cool. Okay, I'm
So
starting. I'm starting
and
to chant.
also yeah, for me, it has me really tap into more of like a warrior kind of energy, like very focused and directive. And you get these messages while you're chanting too, right? So every
Oh,
day it's different, and I see different images while I'm chanting as well. Lately, I've been seeing a lot around tightening up my like loose edges and like tidiness and cleanliness and focus and boundaries. A lot of that kind of stuff has been coming through for me.
that's awesome. It's like Maddie, my sister was on this morning talking about mandalas. And
Oh,
when she's drawing mandalas, she gets a lot of downloads, so to speak. A lot of messages come. Like she actually winds up writing poetry that just comes to her as
mm.
she's drawing the mandalas.
Oh, wow. I'm sure because she's in such a flow state while doing it.
Right. And she has a
Yeah.
book, which I don't know, is here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Doesn't matter. Mandala Meditations.
Ooh. I know, I've
But
met your sister.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
I have one too,
well,
man.
thank you, Harry, for being here. Oh, how can they connect to you? Because I know
Um,
everyone's like, okay, I want Harry to be my friend now.
Instagram at the Harry
Do you know
Lopez.
so I'm still friends with Jerry F., the guy whose house we stayed at in Florida? Like I'm friends on Facebook. I'm not like a friend.
Was that his
We
name?
don't go shopping.
I thought he was like your coach or something at one point. I don't know.
No, that guy in Florida, that Airbnb.
I remember. Oh, oh,
That was the
oh.
first time we met him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Anyway,
perfect.
so how should they reach out to you?
At the Harry Lopez on Instagram.
At the Harry Lopez on Instagram. There you go. Czar just put it up. Thank you, Czar.
Thank you, Czar. Thank
Well, thank you, Harry. I adore you. I'm
you,
so grateful for you
Celia.
being
I adore
here. We are
you
all very relaxed now and ready to chant.
You guys ready to go into, you
Kevin's
guys gotta go
shaking
to
his
the
head.
forest now.
He's ready to talk about nature, but he's ready to chant too.
Yay. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have an amazing rest of your summit, and I'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Celia. Mwah. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you for listening to the Pumped Up Parenting Podcast. If this episode was helpful to you, please share it with a friend and leave us a review that will help others. Wonder why kids don't come with a manual? Well, wonder no more, because I wrote you one, and it's just won a wonderful Mom's Choice Award. Go to celiasbooks.com and buy your copy of Raising Happy Toddlers, as well as my children's books. I appreciate you being part of my mission to help 10 million parents stop yelling at their kids. Please be intentional and hug on those kids of yours. See you at the next episode.